Hey everybody, it's Benny1 and I'm back at you with another Lord of the Rings movie review, and today we're reviewing The Two Towers, everybody. That's right, the darker sequel to The Fellowship of the Ring. So this sees the Fellowship divided, and we catch up with Frodo and Sam as they edge closer to Mordor, and they are aided by a new ally slash foe, Gollum. Gollum, everybody. And then the rest of our fellowship has been separated, but they are all working together without kind of really knowing, I guess, to stop Saruman and his army of Uruk-hai from basically eliminating and wiping out the realm of Rohan, and which is their first big step in process of trying to get rid of the world of men in Middle-earth, everybody. So that's the gist of our story for The Two Towers. This movie is directed by Peter Jackson. Once again, everybody, he also has a little part in this movie, and he also has a little part in The Return of the King. So he's in both of these movies, which I love it when directors put themselves in movies, especially when they're just tiny little parts or they're sitting in the background or something like that. I love that stuff. So we got a bunch of new cast members and characters that get introduced in this movie. So Andy Serkis is probably one of the biggest ones. He plays Gollum, Gollum. Big part in the movie, and the CG that they did with Gollum for this movie coming out in 2002, phenomenal. There's movies that come out today that have worse CGI in them than this movie did almost 20 years ago. So let's see here. We have Miranda Otto plays Eowyn. She is the niece to Theoden, the king of Rohan. She's an important character because her story arc, I love her story arc, because when we get to the Return of the King, she's got a cool story arc. She's actually pretty important to key points in that movie for sure. So, and then we had Bernard Hill. He plays Theoden, the king of Rohan. You might recognize him from Titanic. He was the captain of Titanic in that movie. Carl Urban is in this movie, you guys. He plays Éomer. He is Éowyn's brother, and love his character. He does some shit in the next movie that I'm very impressed with his acting skills. So, let's see who else we got. Brad Dourif. That's right, everybody. Chucky is in The Two Towers, everybody. He plays Wormtongue, just a nasty, vile human being. He's basically poisoning Theoden with his words, because Saruman is like inside of Theoden's body, and he's all looks old, decrepit, and dying, and thank God they save him. So, and then David Wenham, he plays Faramir. We get introduced to Faramir, who is Boromir's brother, everybody. But he's not the warrior fighter that his brother was. He's more interested into the magic side of Middle-earth and wizards and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we got the new cast, along with everybody else that was in the Fellowship of the Ring. Literally, everybody that was in the Fellowship of the Ring is also in this movie. So that alone says a lot about how great these movies are. Like, we had the giant cast introduced in the Fellowship of the Ring, and we got all of this and more added into this one, and still the story is just so cohesive and good, and it flows together. I will say though that this one most definitely does feel like a middle arc and act to the first one and the third one, where the first one we get introduced to everything, we get set up, we're going on this grand adventure and all this stuff, we get introduced to all these new areas, new places, new people. And then this one just kind of, it does somewhat lose steam for me, I guess, because it does feel like that middle act of a trilogy. And then, you know, the third one is this huge, epic, freaking just finisher to this, finish him, to this trilogy. So, I'm not saying the movie's bad at all, trust me, because the movie is good still. It's very, very good. There's just, and they do bring freaking Gandalf back, because you thought Gandalf died. That's actually where the movie opens, is with Gandalf falling down and fighting the Balrog. That's right, and He does come back as Gandalf the White. He's basically a reincarnated version of himself, but he's a reincarnated version of what Saruman was supposed to be. So he's Gandalf the White. I prefer Gandalf the White over Gandalf the Grey. Not that I hate Gandalf the Grey. I just think Gandalf the White's more powerful than Gandalf the Grey. So, and they most definitely show that he's very powerful in this movie. So, and the battle at Helm's Deep, everybody, is one of the coolest, epic battles that I have seen in a movie. I will say that. Yeah, the third one had bigger, epic battles, but that battle at Helm's Deep is awesome. It is well done. It's well put together. Everything, the things that they did in it, the little banter between. The thing I love is Legolas and Gimli in this one. They start basically having their friendship really starts to get like connected, and they're together in this one, and they have a little contest where they count how many like orcs they're killing throughout the movie, and it continues into the next one. I love it. I think it's funny. But yeah, guys, overall, it's a good middle movie in this trilogy. I do think it does lose a little steam though from the other two. But like I said, I'm not saying it's a horrible movie. It's just that middle act in this epic trilogy. So I'm gonna give the Two Towers. I'm gonna give it 4 lightsabers out of 5 lightsabers. It's still an amazing freaking movie. I honestly don't think there's a bad movie in this trilogy. So 4 lightsabers out of 5 lightsabers for Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers, everybody. I appreciate you for watching. I thank you. And I'll be catching you on the tube laters because I have spoken.